doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, welcome to the People's Weekly on peoplesradiounited.com. I'm here with Canadian Glenn. What's up, Glenn?
Buenos dias, California.
Buenos dias, Canada.
Okay,
I try to make it sound like California as much as possible.
Okay, well, that's acceptable. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Who's fucking stir crazy?
I think everybody is right now.
Well, this is pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. Some of the things that I think everybody can relate to that are starting to happen are the things that you're never going to read about, I think there should be a lot more awareness of what this does for people who are in a situation that is bodily dangerous for them. Whether we're talking about spousal abuse or elder abuse or anything else along these lines, you shouldn't be going out anywhere. You're stuck there with these people. And even in the apartment building I live in, it's been getting a little louder as the days roll on, And, it's just a whole nother issue that basically isn't really getting talked about too much. It's been a big deal up here to try and get funding and PPE, which is the new fucking buzzword of 2020, PPE, to keep women's shelters open and stuff like that. Because, when you're forced to stay home with your drunk husband who hits you, it's not going to work out too well.
Yeah, there's a lot of domestic violence happening from what I'm hearing. And Trump heard Mexican violence, I think. But no, yeah, it's not a good situation because people are, like I've seen things online where there's like code words they have and use different color pens to fill out forms and, things like that. So, I don't know. It's not good. It's never good even when this isn't happening, but being locked inside with your abuser.
Yeah.
And getting, possible fines or jail time for being out.
Yep.
And you don't have anywhere to go, so probably the only places you would normally go would be places that are crowded to get away from that.
Yep. It changes a lot of things.
And that's kids, and that's,
Yep.
Domestic violence goes through every kind of situation. It's not just women and children, it's men too. I don't know what the statistics are, but either way, it's not good. No matter who the victim is.
That's right. Well, that's just one of these things that is only made worse because of this. And, you're starting to see a little bit. I know there's probably a hell of a lot more of it showing up in media in the U.S. than in Canada, and that's just because there's so many more people. But, they gave warnings that, people in car accidents, people that have relatively minor heart attacks, this is going to affect their survivability as well because hospitals are busy. And, the top people are very busy. Like, I think if I had my car accident right now, would I immediately get wheeled into surgery like I was? And, would that, and I had a CT scan right outside of the emergency department. Would that be happening now?
It depends where you are. Some hospitals are so packed and other ones are still empty because the virus hasn't hit those areas as hard yet. That's where all those MAGA wackadoos are driving around taking pictures of empty parking lots.
Oh, yeah.
Not realizing that they already don't allow visitors, so why would there be a full parking lot? But secondly, some areas just haven't been hit yet. And hopefully they won't get hit as hard. But I mean, they're getting ready here. And even so, like, if I had to go to the hospital, I'd probably choose not to if I could avoid it, because, like, say you got to get rushed to the emergency. Who's been in there? What do they have? What kind of shit are you getting sitting in the seats there, getting put in the bed? You know what I mean? The virus could be airborne there. People could be, it's probably not the safest place to not catch the virus,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a fucked up situation every which way. I mean, we got police out here. I just filmed some this morning, all up in a woman's face, this older lady. They got their hands all on her phone, no gloves, no masks. And this is Pacific Division. These cops have already been hit with it. A lot of them already have it. So who's to say they didn't pass it to this woman? And she's telling me, go away, they're so great. It's ridiculous. Well, I've been filming them nonstop with no gloves, no masks, all up in people's faces.
Didn't Garcetti say that that's the way it is now?
What's the way it is?
The gloves and masks for LAPD.
I think the chief of police said that.
Oh, I see. But I mean, still, what the fuck?
I don't know. Like, they should be reprimanded. These cops are all up in people. Culver City's like one of the worst police departments. These cats even have masks and gloves on. At least they're doing that. Like, I don't like cops wearing masks because it's even harder to identify them when they're doing their criminal shit. But I mean, for the people's safety, it's probably better to have them on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We can find out who you are, mask or not. But yeah, man, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. They're fucking endangering people's lives and they don't give a shit. They were laughing about it today. Oh, and by the way, for anyone at LAPD, since they all listen to my YouTube channel or whatever, according to this cat today, he said, thank you for the video. So yeah, now I feel validated. The cops want me to film them.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it up like 1,000%. I don't got nothing else to do. Since he want to say thank you for the video, I want to make sure they're getting what they want. They like being held accountable. Maybe it feels good, I don't know. They might like getting cursed out. Who knows? But fuck it.
No, well, I mean, this is it, idle hands are the Avengers workshop. That's altered a bit, but it works. There's just so many other things. Like, there's been a bit of it's Canada, so I mean, it's turned into some kind of satire now. It's just a fucking joke. Everybody's given up on it. But provinces have been putting out lists of what they call essential that keeps going, that is not being shut down. And most of them are a complete joke. It's like basically everything is still open except what was closed before. This isn't progress. I mean, I'm working every day, and I have been for, this whole thing, really. It's a choice that's day to day. Nobody loses their job if they decide that it's time to not be there. Shit like that. But the thing is, it's putting a lot of trust, or it's bringing awareness to trust that is always been there all along, you know? I mean, for example, if you go to work Monday to Friday at a large commercial construction site where more than 100 people come into work every day, and then they leave and live their lives, then they come back, there's a certain amount of trust that is taken for granted without a pandemic. There could be somebody who's whacked out on drugs and will do something and somebody gets killed. There could be somebody there who has something else, like tuberculosis, or there's been some measles outbreak, or, you know, you never know. You're always taking this chance to do a fucking job. And you just kind of depend on everybody relatively having their shit together, that nobody ends up fucking everything up for everybody. But now with this, all that trust that was taken for granted before, now it's all being analyzed all the time. You know, like, talk about what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me in the last fucking hour? That's about as far as the trust goes right now.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up trust, but go ahead.
You know, it's different. It's very different. I mean, I've worked in industrial environments where it's a war. Doing your job is a war. You always have to be on. You can't relax. You can't ignore things. You have to pay attention to what you hear. You know, it's one of those crazy places to work. I've been to those places. And actually, I think it's where I did a lot of my best work I've ever done, but that's because I was suitably motivated, shall we say. But, so, I mean, this doesn't really affect me too much, the way I go about my business at work, but there's a lot of younger tradespeople that have never been exposed to any sort of palpable tension day in and day out. They're just not used to it, you know? And I think more people are starting to disappear from showing up at work just because they can't handle the environment as much as the health risk. It's just too much. They can't deal.
Yeah, it's just all piled up, everything. That's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stress and shit from all this. Losing jobs is crazy. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, well, Celeb Scoder's in the chat here. After our show, there's gonna be Celeb Scoder's gonna do his show. It's music. It's what is it? It's like hip hop and experimental rap. I was trying to think of the word experimental. As you know, I was choking my ass off of this wax before the show, so experimental is a hard word to think of. But yeah, that starts at 7:30 Pacific and 10:30 Eastern. It's the Go Punk Yourself show, but it's experimental hip hop and rap. Industrial hip hop, that's another word I was trying to think of. Now I know how Trump feels at these fucking MAGA rallies when he can't think of the words. He must have just took a huge dab.
Well, maybe same effect, different method.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, industrial hip hop and experimental rap. Go Punk Yourself, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. And yeah, the last couple of shows have been bomb. He did one with all punk and one with, well, mostly punk. One with mostly rap was last night. So it's cool. But back to the trust thing, Glenn. You know what the mayor of LA said?
What?
He said to rat out your neighbors, basically. He said, we know the old saying about what snitches get, but in LA, we say snitches get rewards. That's the most fascist fucking shit I've ever heard.
Wow.
So rat out your neighbors for having a 1-year-old birthday party, or rat out your neighbors for having their family over or something, you know? It just seems like, I don't know. Everyone will be watching everybody. Everybody's going to be snitching on everybody. For what? You think people ain't going to call this because their neighbor's coughing a lot? Like me?
Well,
just
well,
before
I
the
mean,
show?
This seems like a big okay flag to a whole fucking demographic. I mean, look at this spike we had in busybody white women phoning the cops about people being black in public. You know, and I think when you get a mayor of Los Angeles saying that, you know, this is something to be encouraged, oh man, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for a lot of trouble. And who knows how many people will end up dead over this bullshit for nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's my concern. Like what happens if, I mean, just think of someone's suicidal or someone's having a mental breakdown. They have to call family members to come and calm them down. The family members, they know, you know, some people could talk people down. Certain people listen to other people.
Yeah.
So they call a relative and they come with another relative. Now there's 4 or 5 people in the house trying to help this person. A neighbor calls the police. They're having a gathering. The police show up. Somebody mentally ill. What are the police going to do? They're going to blow them the hell away.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, man. Anytime you calling armed gangsters to come and deal with some shit, you're risking somebody's life.
Yes. But
it's fucking dangerous.
But again, you know, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're talking about trust and lack thereof. So, I mean, Los Angelinos knew how long ago that that's the risk you take when you phone the LAPD. But now, because of everything else that's going on, it's just that much more visible again. All of a sudden, right? It's right
the
there.
Thing is, they called LAPD at an alarming rate before this was happening. Now you got this punk ass mayor, Garcetti, encouraging this shit.
Yeah.
You know, rat out your neighbors, you'll be rewarded. He didn't make it clear, I don't think, what the fucking reward was. What was the reward? Everyone's safe? You know?
Well, yeah. You can't trust him at all anyway.
Why? And you know what? If it's really that bad, why can't you just go talk to your neighbors? Put on a mask, put on some gloves, stand 6 feet away, tap on their door with a broom. You know what I mean? Say, excuse me, what you're doing seems dangerous and it makes me nervous. Whatever. Boom, boom. These cats be like, you know, whatever. Either fuck you or cool. We'll work it out. Either way, you got your concern out the way. Go back to your house. They ain't fucking bothering you.
Yep.
I mean, I understand, but people are doing this. People are going around licking bottle caps and shit. People are doing insane ass fucking shit. So how do you know, when you go to a store, someone will lick the bottle cap of some shit you bought or lick your lettuce? I don't know. It just seems like, come on. You have to trust some people because most people aren't doing that. But there's this little group of people. I mean, some people have been on the internet doing that. Some people got arrested doing it. I think they got charged with terrorism or something. Yeah, man, it's
there are always a very small group of freaks like that. It's like the people who fuck with Halloween candy. You know, like, what's your fucking point, man?
I mean, I went to the grocery store last night, and usually they have the guard at the door, 5 people in, 5 people out. They didn't have nobody at the door doing nothing. Everyone was in there. There were lines, you know, they're trying to stay 6 feet in line. People all in the aisles standing around, some people talking, some had masks on, some didn't. You know what I mean? But nobody's going to report that because that's a big corporation. It just seems like, you know, you can get the shit anywhere. If you're in the grocery store talking to people without masks on, leaning on shelves, touching shit, they're letting as many people in as go in, you know? They're not guiding anything. They just have like little markers on the floor, little feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, whatever. Okay, so what? That's not doing anything different than a family getting together, because what if one of them's in the hospital and they're just getting together to console each other? I mean, you know what I mean? It's scary times. We can't be calling the police on all this dumb shit on people. We have to respect our friends and family and neighbors and relatives, because you never know what happened if something happened to you. And you're scared. You want to call a relative. You know? A couple relatives need to come over to make sure you're okay. And then your neighbor's going to call the police on you for having a gathering. Man, it's bullshit. Fucking Walmarts out here don't have fucking anything. You know what I mean? People just lined up, crammed up in there, and they got police in the front.
Well,
I was in a Walmart parking lot. I seen police sheriffs parked out there. I was just taking someone else there because I've never actually been in a Walmart. So, but I've been in a parking lot.
Well, I mean, in the first show that we talked about this, at the stage it was at then, you know, I kind of was on the fucking soapbox about this is going to be pretty obvious that this is about not human life lost, it's about revenue lost. And, you know, this whole thing, all these goofball leaders all around the world, oh, everybody's got to get back to work. Fuck you. That is just incorrect, you know? And I don't understand what the holdup is with just giving everyone a fucking mask, because it works. I mean, it's always worked. And I wear a mask at work just because I think it's telling all these other people that I don't work with, that I don't know their name, that I'm saying, who knows? Maybe I do fucking have it. But I'm putting a mask on to make sure I don't give it to you.
Exactly.
That's what it says to me.
And it's also setting an example, like, you know, I'm trying to protect you. Maybe you can do the same and try to protect me back, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Here's another thing. I'm sorry, but this rant is pissing me off, though. Because, see, what happens is these people are going to snitch on their neighbors. Let's say they're just being irresponsible and having a party. Let's say there's 30 people over there, you know, the next door neighbor's house. That sucks. It's dangerous as shit. But they're not around you. You know what I mean? If they're coming on your property, kick them the fuck off. You don't need to call the police. And then you say you get away from that. There's no virus. You go to the store, you get pulled over by the police. They come over with no masks on, no gloves, and infect you. But you didn't call the police on the police, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I keep reporting these police. Nobody gives a fuck. It's who they want you to snitch on. They don't want you to snitch on the authorities that are breaking these rules and endangering people's lives. They want you to snitch on your people just like you.
Yeah.
Because really, why do we need all these police in the streets right now? There's not this many people in the streets. And I understand the little tactics they're doing where they're trying to cut back. So they have one cop in each car in some areas. I've seen them doing that a lot. But there's still a lot of two cops in the car. Because they have one cop in a car, then you see the cop you usually drive with him in another car, trying to make it look like more police, but it's really just more cars.
Well, you know, the thing is all of a sudden, like, traffic violations must be way down. You know, I mean, they're not making their quota with this shutdown. So we have to
according
come up
to
with
the LAPD, he was asking this cop, "Are you guys holding the line or something?" And the cop like, "Yes, we're holding the line. We're meeting our minimums, and we got coffee or something." And I thought, meeting your minimums, that's quotas. So yeah. That's what they have minimums, and they're out there fucking with people for littering, as I filmed yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
You know, flicking a cigarette butt, you get two police searching you up and down with no masks, and one didn't even have gloves on.
Yeah, we need more methods of revenue input. So we're encouraging our customer base to help us out. Fuck off.
It's insanity, dude. It just enrages me. It really does.
Okay, here's one that's a little different then. When all these essential service lists came out across Canada, everybody included liquor stores. Liquor stores must stay open. And of course, you know, you got the usual shit right off the bat about, well, yeah, you know, how many politicians are alcoholics, et cetera, et cetera. But then I saw one explanation and it just solved it. I'll never question it again. And they said, okay, so we're expecting the health system to get fucking tsunamied. And do you have any idea how much resources in a hospital that alcoholics in withdrawal use up? And he said again, you know, back to this death panel type line of thought. When the time comes, the resources to save these people just ain't going to be available. So a lot more of them would die that wouldn't otherwise. And
but what about the ones with alcohol poisoning and liver failure and drunk driving accidents? That's a high percentage too, I would think, wouldn't it be?
But the other thing is, by far, with people who have real problems with alcohol that live on the streets, when they can't get alcohol, what is the first thing they go for? Hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
So you don't need that demand on that product at this time. So once I heard that little bit of logic, is like, oh, okay, fine. I'm okay with that then. You know, I wouldn't want to be a fucking cashier in a liquor store, I'll tell you that. But, you know, at least I kind of get it.
Yeah, and it probably also has to do with which politicians own stock in big liquor companies. Like some of these big liquor companies own entertainment industries and stuff too.
Oh yeah. Diageo, for sure. But
yeah, it's like, so they're not going to shut down the biggest companies. But yeah, I mean, that's another theory in another way, I guess. But I think, I don't know, why not just manufacture more hand sanitizer?
Because we've created a strangled market, which, you know, makes the product worth much more suddenly.
And, you know, what if it goes in reverse and people just start pouring vodka on their hands, rubbing them together?
Well, if I was in Russia, that's what I'd be doing, because it's probably fucking cheaper than anything else.
Yeah. Here you can buy little 99-cent bottles of that, little mini bottles, just pour it out, rub it on. Or maybe they're $1.99. I don't know, but they're cheap.
What's the deal there? What's the deal there with public transportation? Is it free?
I'm hearing yes and no. Some people are telling me they're happy right now because it's free. Like they just go on the back door and the drivers don't want to deal with them. But then I had other people that are mainly online telling me, or I was seeing, that it's not free. And they still expect them to get on the back door, walk up to the front, pay, and then, you know, because they got a glass in front of the driver now.
Oh, yeah.
They've had that, I think, for a while for some of the buses. The driver's in like a little encaged area with like a window. But most buses didn't have that before.
Interesting. It's all been free here for about 3 weeks now.
It's not normally free there?
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I think, I think an adult fare is one way wherever the fuck you're going, $3.85. And that's for anything, bus, trains, whatever.
Yeah, I
And
don't know. I
all
think it's cheaper than that here. I think it's $1 or $2 or $1.80 or so. I don't know. It seems to change. Like I had to take it when my car broke down, but all the buses are different prices. One was $1, one was $1 something.
That's
It was
weird.
just a whole bunch of money coming out my pocket that I had to keep getting ones for. And they want to change. It was just like ridiculous. And I'm thinking, can't my taxes just pay for this shit?
Well,
So I
no,
just get on and go. I mean,
we
people
have
got
to
to
give
deal
our,
with that.
no, we have
What?
we have to give the taxes away to people who don't need them.
Yeah, but I mean, people, mainly poor people, got to go to work on the bus every single day,
Yeah.
and they got to pay for a card or a pass or whatever it is. And it's like, why not just let these cats on the bus? Why not just let everyone on and take it out of the tax dollars? It doesn't even make sense. It gets you where you got to go.
Well,
Like, why
economically, it
shouldn't that
does
be
make
free?
sense because all the increased productivity will by far show up in the tax receipts, and yeah, the money will be there, but that's not raising it the right way, you know? It's not going through the right people's hands. So, no, we can't
Yeah, I
do
don't care
that.
about that.
Yeah, well, but
He's like, they do. But no, the thing is, man, it's like, it's a necessity. People got to get places.
yeah.
We pay taxes. They got these damn buses and trains and shit. Imagine if they were free, how many less cars there might be on the road.
Yeah.
Less fucking people having to rent cars. It would cut down the Uber driving stuff and the taxis and everything. People be like, oh, we got great public transportation and it's free. We can go anywhere we want. That
I
seems
know.
like that would be worth it. That seems like any city that had that will be ahead, and their people will be a little happier for it.
Well, yeah, but then, you know, the last couple of years, I've spent a lot of time, more than I ever thought I would, in the greater Toronto area, southern Ontario. So we're talking 8.5 million people in an area that's, you know, really not all that big. I'm sure it's as big as some American metro cities. That's it, you know. And they have fucking trains coming from everywhere. The city of Toronto and what's connected to it has heavy subway. They've got LRT now. They've got streetcars. They've got buses. It's a pretty good fucking system. And there are parking lots like 30, 40 miles out of downtown Toronto that are filled every day, and all those people take the fucking train back and forth. But yet the highways are still packed.
Is the train free?
No.
See, that's the key.
But driving sure as hell ain't free there.
No, but if you got to pay, you might as well just get there quick as hell.
But there's so many fucking cars. That's a relative term, you know? It's crazy.
Even in LA, like if say the freeway is crowded, most places I'm going, I could take side streets and get there way quicker than a bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I could call it Uber driver. He's doing the same thing I'm doing, and he's probably going to get on a freeway. He or she. And then buses just take forever. They stop at every stop, and they do. I mean, they should be free.
All right.
I don't know. I just think certain services should be free because we pay our taxes. Healthcare would be one of them. Imagine if we had, like, everyone had the same healthcare that Congress has right now. And our taxes paid for it.
Well,
Imagine
you know.
everybody be tested. We know more about this thing.
Yeah, but that's, you know, that's un-American.
Yeah, so am I.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, personally, am I spending a whole lot of my time looking at graphs and numbers and trends, and no, I'm not. Because I just know it's going to get a lot worse yet, and I'm not going to be having a reaction on every day's numbers at this point, because I'll get burnt out. And I don't.
Stressful.
Yeah, that's not a place I want to go, man. Forget it. This could last quite a while. So.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't want to get completely bogged in the world picture.
You know what I'm nervous about?
What?
When it gets warmer in the summer, it might slow down possibly, and you're going to have Trump doing this mission accomplished Bush moment. Like, we beat the invisible enemy, or whatever he calls it. You know, we did it. Yay, MAGA, MAGA. And then as this gets colder and flu season comes back, this thing comes back, you know, and just goes ape shit on everything.
Well, I think this is going to be a severe test on the so-called New World Order. I don't think there's too many team players coming up in the next year or two. And rightly so, in my opinion. All these lines on the map, it's about time they actually meant something. So, you know, if the country next door to you are being fucking whack jobs, well, then I'm sorry, we're not going to be dealing with you all that much. Because, you know, we'd like to live up here.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, closing the border. I mean, it's not completely closed. Of course, trade is not touched at all. Trucks keep flying back and forth across the border. But, you know, only political people and shit like that are getting in no problem into Canada from the U.S. Everything else is like, no, sorry, not right now. And that's a direct result of your federal government and the way they've dealt with this so far.
I suspect we're going to have 4 more years of that same exact federal government dealing with shit probably even more shittily than they are now.
God. Unbelievable.
But in the end, man, it's got to be the revolution. We're going to have to win this thing, or at least fight, or it's just going to be one-party government. Because it's a one-party now. It's been a one-party government. People just didn't listen to me before. Now people are starting to see it. You got Democrats supporting racist and rapist, as long as it's their rapist and racist, and Republicans are doing the same. Republicans are talking shit about Joe Biden being a rapist like it's a horrible thing. Where they're saying Trump, Trump, Trump. The Biden people are doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh and Trump are terrible racists, but Biden, come on, give the guy a break. That was a long time ago. I mean, it's insane, the hypocrisy and the mental gymnastics, whatever it is, they'll pull out their ass to try to get around this to justify what they're doing.
Well, I think it was probably 2 years or more ago when I first said I know what the winning ticket is for 2020 in the States. And it's Dunning-Kruger, yep. 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to feel sorry for you guys sometimes. Holy fuck. Like, gee, who would have ever saw this happening? Oh, I don't know.
And the people don't ever wake up. They'll just be like, oh, the Democrats will make it better. Oh, this will happen. Everything will be okay. Someone will step in and save us all. Jesus will come back before then. I don't know. Whatever they say, it's some wackadoo shit, man. What they need to be saying is, hell no. Let's get out in the streets and shut this shit down. We already have the virus shutting this down. We could shut down the whole rest of this country. We could bring them to their motherfucking knees right now. we can get any demands we want, or we'll die fucking fighting for it. That's what people need to be saying right now, because look at all these new people losing their jobs. Look at all these new people. Then the unemployment rate is skyrocketed. People can't get money right now. They're not sending the stimulus. It might take 5 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's too long.
Everything's fucking shut down like that. They don't give a fuck about us. They're only taking care of fucking small businesses, quote unquote. And those are usually the bigger of the small businesses, not the corner store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And giant corporations and banks, airlines, those are the people they're taking care of. Those are the people benefiting from the government socialism, as they call it. Well, the people ain't getting shit. And the people are going to still just be cool with it. Just take it.
Okay.
No Vaseline. Stockholm Syndrome kind of shit.
That brings me to another theory that has been popping up. It's more just, I guess, a point of view, but I can see this getting picked up and distorted. But there are those that say this is the planet fighting back against the biggest threat to the planet, us.
Oh, I've said that. I've said that.
You know, I mean, it makes sense in a certain school of thought. It makes complete sense. It makes total sense. In a conspiracy
theory sort of way, it makes sense. But what actually makes sense is it's 5G, right?
No, what makes sense is when you look at I don't even know what to call it, the holistic school of thought about the Earth is a living thing.
No, I know. I was just being sarcastic.
I know.
But, no, I agree with that because, yeah, you just, if something's hurting you, you hurt it, you try to get rid of it, right? That's why we go to the doctor and get antibiotics and stuff like that. If we were the Earth, the bacteria and viruses and germs and sicknesses that we kill would be species, right? I mean, they are. But on a bigger scale, we're just a virus to the Earth. A bad one. But I mean, also, like we said before, eating meat when you're not supposed to. We're not a species that I think was intended to eat meat. Like, we have flat teeth. We're mammals. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but you eat meat because a lot of these, at least recently, they came from cows, pigs, and poultry. Yeah. And this one's maybe a bat or a pangolin or whatever. I don't know. I eat meat, but I'm saying vegetarians, there's something to that. I think even biologically there's something to that. I'm not a scientist, but I'm guessing from just layman's common knowledge, right?
Well, if I was writing for WWE or something, I'd say, what does nobody expect now of all times? Meteor Strike 2020.
I see something with Godzilla coming.
If it was to happen now, it would just be like, okay, fuck it. This is enough.
Yeah, Son Scoter said it came from someone who ate a bat. But the thing is, yeah, it might have. A lot of people eat bats. People eat dogs. People eat cows. People eat pigs. People eat snakes. People eat sharks. They eat fish.
People eat everything.
People eat every goddamn animal on the planet. People eat possums. People eat alligators. I mean, come on.
Ostrich,
yeah. Goats.
Like, why?
Pigs. Shrimp. I mean, think about it. So who's to say what's so weird and what's so not weird? It's just cultural. And I think eating any meat probably is bad. especially the way they treat him. You know, imagine being born in a cage. That's a whole nother show. But anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, he ate kangaroo. See, that's some weird shit. You're lucky you're alive. But yeah, it's like judging somebody for eating a bat. Really think about what motherfuckers eat here in just the United States alone. It's pretty crazy.
Well, the other thing is, nobody who's beacon off about this in the United States has any idea what it's like in China. How many fucking people there are. A friend of mine went over there for 18 months on a contract. And he basically, he got to go to Beijing and be a tourist and all that shit. But he went to 12 different provinces in 18 months, physically setting up a certain type of business. And he said, you get out of the cities, there are no birds. There are no weasels or gophers or nothing. Because they're all hunted into extinction. Because people are fucking hungry. So, to make this big deal about this may have come from a bat, you people have no fucking clue. No
exactly.
Clue. Like, nobody goes to Whole Foods and buys a fucking gopher wrapped in cellophane, okay? It's not the way it happens.
Yeah. But even getting stuff from stores where it's supposedly safe has in the past caused disease.
Yeah.
So
yeah, E. coli and
I'm just
other
saying, it's
shit
just like you
that.
can't. They're like, oh, because they're Asian or Chinese, or they're gonna say, oh, they eat bats. How crazy is that? That's how they. I've heard people say they deserve it if they're gonna eat bats. I'm like, look at the shit you eat, especially people in the South. Look at the shit y'all eat. They eat rattlesnakes,
prairie
like I said,
oysters,
alligators, oyster. Yeah,
prairie oysters.
What are prairie oysters?
Testicles from a bull.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Ugh.
These people are disgusting. And they have the audacity to mock somebody else. What?
So it's whatever. I mean, it's just like the Orange Disaster insisting on saying that the virus came from China. Chinese. Yeah, that's why the Spanish flu that started in Kansas is called the Spanish flu. Okay. Everything's political, man. Everything. And that's a whole nother fucking show, too, about how the United States has turned up the heat on countries that have a COVID problem. Just because they can, because they're fucking assholes.
Trump supporter in the audience here is saying, so you're telling me Kansas isn't in Spain?
No, it's not.
No, I'm just kidding. There's nobody in there.
No, it's not.
You don't mean Kansas, Spain?
I mean, fucking Trump tried to tell 3M not to ship to Canada. Fuck off, man. I don't think so. Just fuck off. We paid for the shit. We expect fucking delivery.
Is Trudeau still alive?
Oh, of course he is.
Boris wasn't doing good, but I think he's doing better, unfortunately. Yeah,
Shit.
I said it. I don't care.
No, actually, the only pollster in Canada that I trust, a man that I had guest on my show, his latest polling shows the Canadian government's approval rating at the highest level he's ever recorded in 40 years.
Yeah.
So
Trump's approval rating got a spike over this. And look at his insane little... That's a nasty question. Like, hey, you're a nasty reporter. Like, what's wrong with the dude?
oh man.
And they're supporting him more because of this shit. I have the best ratings ever.
Unbelievable.
He's like some kind of freak show, man. Literally. His name should be Freak Show.
It's almost like it's part the movie Network from the 70s, and it's part Batman with the Joker, and oh man, and it's part Caddyshack. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, if only Americans knew the looks on the faces of people all around the world when they see that idiot stick.
They fear his strength. That's what that look is.
Oh,
his
my
presidential
God.
might and strength, and they fear it.
No, they fear that people will actually listen to this fucking idiot and do what he says. That's what they fear.
Yeah. He seems unstoppable, man.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, everybody does until...
Yeah, I hope, but it doesn't seem like anyone's going to do anything about it. They're
No,
on the same team in the end.
but the thing is, any day, he could have a stroke, he could have a heart attack, he could have an embolism. It's possible.
I think they're just going to hire an actor that looks like him. And you'll never know, except his voice will be really deep all of a sudden one day.
Will he be black too?
No. He'll just be like, hello, I'm Donald Trump, your president. Remember me from yesterday? I'm the same guy. That's me. Coronavirus sucks, but we're going to get through it, people. You know what I mean? He'll just be like a little change like that. Because they're just some regular actor guy. It's not a president like Trump.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Depending on who you ask, either the greatest or worst president in history. Oh.
And there you go. That just explains the whole fucking problem right there. One extreme to the other. Those are the only teams. And both teams report to the same bosses.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. It's a
Got heads and tails,
one-team
but it's the same
league.
fucking coin that's going to land on top of you and crush you.
One-team league. Fuck.
Yeah, but just
Wow.
not that long ago, people, even during the Obama and then this last, all through Obama's presidency, even at the end of Bush's presidency, everybody say, oh no, the Democrats and Republicans are totally different. You're a fool. How do you not see that? And I'd be like, how do they not see that exactly the same? And now, guess who was right?
Dunning-Kruger, 2020.
What's her name? Damn it, I keep forgetting. The actress is supporting Biden.
I don't know.
Everyone's giving her shit. Because she's
No
cool
idea.
with... Oh. This whole thing's going on. I can't find it right now. Yeah, there's this damn actress that's like, she was going against everything and saying believe all women, and she was big in the Me Too movement. And now she supports Biden, and it's like, we have to hear every side of the story. We can't just believe a woman and ruin a man's life.
Oh, yeah.
Like she just flipped like all the way around, reverse, full U-turn. Because it's her guy's a rapist. It's cool.
That's what you call a full heel
Milano.
turn.
Alyssa Milano is the actress.
That's
She's
who
in
it
some
is?
show. What?
That's who it is?
Yeah. Why are you
That's
laughing?
funny. That's funny.
Oh, Milano. Yeah, he said Milano. Why is that funny? She was in a
Because,
show that was about something that I can't remember. Someone told me. I'm too stoned to care.
No, she was the fucking kid in Who's the Boss. But anyway, oh yeah, she was full blown Me Too feminism 1000 fucking %. And now she's fucking standing for Biden. That's hilarious.
Yeah, she's like, we can't just believe women because they say something. There has to be due process.
Holy shit.
I've known him for so long.
Oh, yeah. Who else have you known? Harvey? Fuck. Whatever,
Probably.
man. Whatever. What bullshit. See, that's the thing, man. American politics doesn't deserve to be taken seriously anymore. It's just too fucking whacked. Nothing makes sense. So, okay, fine. You are a 24/7 comedy routine. All right. It's nuts.
These people hypocrisy, and they don't seem to see it. They just justify it in their head. It's like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
Dunning-Kruger,
You don't get it. He's my
2020.
guy. Yeah, but we established last time Dunning-Kruger wins every year in this country.
Oh yeah, but this is going to be a landslide.
I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's going to affect me in a terrible way.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
See, there you go. There's as much of a difference between the U.S. and Canada right now as you can possibly imagine. Here in the States, you got fucking Trump, who insists he's the best at everything there ever has been. And the picture for the United States, as far as COVID goes, it does not look good. Does not look good at all. And that's the man in the country. Then you come up to Canada, where you got Trudeau, who has a minority government. So he can't do anything on his own. And, it was yesterday that the government website officially opened for this emergency relief. $2,000 a month. They've processed 247,000 people have gotten their money already the next
And
day.
they're doing that for 5 months, aren't they?
4 months.
Yeah, we're supposed to get $1,200 sometime in the next 10 to 15 weeks if you file taxes, and if you fit all this criteria, and if you're not too poor to get it, and if you're not too rich to get it. If you are too rich to get it, they'll subsidize you with even more money.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, here's a guy who supposedly has to get permission from at least one other party to do anything, and he's got the highest rated government in over 40 years. So he ain't worried about an election anytime soon. Everybody else is shitting their pants, because if this keeps up, if Canada can keep a lid on COVID, Trudeau's going to be around for a long time with a majority.
Yeah.
So, it's just look at the difference between the
There's
two
people
countries.
who love him. He's like love like Obama. The people don't see the terrible shit. They just look at the smile and the happiness or whatever.
Well, the thing about what government has become in Canada, how it works, is nobody can get shit done like the Prime Minister. And that's not the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way it's become. It's become more Americanized over the last 30 years or so. But this guy is at least doing it. People lost their jobs, they have to stay home, money, bang. He's actually doing it, which is more than you can say for the States or Britain or France or anybody else who has the fucking money to do it. You know?
Now, is everybody getting that? Or is it a certain demographic?
If you have lost 100% of your income because of COVID in any way, shape, or form,
What if you didn't have income before and you're just getting some kind of assistance?
It depends what assistance you're getting.
Like, say, disability.
Then you're probably not going to see much of fuck all extra. You'll keep getting what you were getting.
Oh, I see.
And that is an issue that has been brought up by a lot of people, especially the Socialist Party, the NDP, well, quote unquote socialist. But they said, you know, why is anybody who had any kind of job, if they lost it, why are they getting $2,000 a month when people who are on disability, most of whom try to work because you don't give them enough, how come they don't get shit? But, you know, they're a small number, so they're fringe, and they have to make noise to get lubricated. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if he wants to keep his numbers up, and considering the huge numbers for Canada that are out there for what this is going to cost, you know, even though they print their own fucking money, but that's another show. You know, so it'd be very easy to say, sure, spend another whatever, $10 million, $20 million. Who cares? Fuck, spend $200 million. Who cares? We're spending $82 billion. So, you know, this is the thing for a really, really good politician who's out in front. You know, it's his call. It's up to him. And obviously, being a minority government, nobody wants to bring down the government. What do you want to? How the fuck are you going to have an election campaign? It's impossible. So, you know, we're stuck with him. And if he keeps doing this, you know, he's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, we went the other way, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever Trump's doing seems to be working for him. And he's going to be around at least a while longer, maybe worse. Who knows what he could pull off in 4 more years of being allowed to get away with anything he does.
He just needs that one French fry to clog that one artery.
Yeah, but you know he's rich as hell and those people live longer.
Well,
look at Dick Cheney. How many hearts has he had?
Dick Cheney has no pulse. It's true. That's true, man. He's got a rotary heart.
He's the Walking Dead.
Yeah, he has no pulse. How fucking typical.
Wow.
God. Wow is right. Whatever. That's a whole nother fucking show too. But going forward, I don't know. Get ready, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take for people to get mad. Like, if people think this isn't going to add to the homelessness crisis,
oh yeah,
they're insane, and it doesn't have to.
No, it doesn't.
But I think if the people just rise up the right way, it could end the homelessness crisis. You know what I mean?
But this being a pandemic, this is the perfect excuse for power to prevent people congregating. They're making all the laws they can. You better not be getting together. It's perfect.
It don't matter when there's thousands and thousands of people out in the streets.
But right now, there's enough people
everything.
but there's enough people right now that actually fear doing that. And that's to the state's advantage.
Whatever you got to do, don't sell your guns. When it comes time where the last thing you got before you could eat is your guns, that's when you need to hit the street. Oh man, these people need to just wake up. Like, we could win this right now.
Well,
Just like, nah, everything's shut down. Nobody's going to work. Everybody's stockpiled shit. We could take over some Walmarts and you know what I mean? Everybody's fed and cool.
Well, I think the closest thing to that was probably New Orleans after Katrina. That's the closest that kind of shit happened.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But voting ain't gonna save nobody. You get more of the same and worse.
Yep.
Did you see these sick people, man? Before we go, I know we gotta wrap it soon, but these senators,
Yep.
four or five Republican senators and one Democratic,
Collins.
Feinstein.
Oh, is that who it was? Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah. But the Republican ones, there was a woman, one of them, she sold, a lot of them, they all sold their stocks and they did insider trading. But one of them specifically did insider trading. She sold her stocks in restaurants and stores and things and bought stocks in body bags. Do you know how sick that is? You're hoping for people to die so you can profit directly.
Yep.
She should be in prison right now before the other one's waiting for a trial. But anyway, then you have this damn medication that Trump has been pushing nonstop. Michael Cohen had brought people from this company in and gave them access to Trump for some money. Trump owns stakes in their stock. A lot of Trump's associates own a lot of stakes in their stocks. And he's pushing this thing that, for what I'm hearing, works in some cases, possibly. But it's too early to tell. And one of the studies I was reading showed that with or without it, you get the same results.
Awesome. So it's a placebo that costs a fucking fortune. Awesome.
However, it has some terrible, terrible, terrible side effects.
Of course.
Some people have already died from taking it. But Trump is profiting.
That sounds like a Trump product.
Will let people be guinea pigs and just take some shit. You know what I mean?
Of course.
He's up there. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Try it. Try it. Like, why is he talking like that? Sounds like he's an Addams Family member. But not nice. He looks like
a fucking gong show, man. It's a gong
insanity.
Show. Yep.
So people are dropping dead. It's going to get worse. Some people think it's a hoax. Other people think it's being overblown. I heard one person saying, don't go to the testing centers. That's where they infect you. I'm like, wow.
Oh, we're on to that now.
Everywhere. Like I said, like we were joking about the 5G. These people are like, it's the 5G radio waves making people sick, or they're doing this to hide from the 5G. These people are nuts. It's like all this misinformation. These people really believe it. And then there's another QAnon might be the 5G one. Some of them assholes been following me lately.
Well, I want somebody to call it the Q virus.
That's what they should do. That dude's genius. I've said it before. He's got this whole cult, and he sells merchandise. If you're a capitalist, start a cult. They believe all this bullshit you tell them, and sell merchandise. Brand.
See, now the Bureau should be looking at people like that if they want your anon news to ever get anywhere. But that's a whole nother show too. But
Yeah.
the one thing I wanted to finish with is I'm starting to see the stories now, especially on Twitter. I'm seeing them even in local news now, with people not being able to see other people before they die from COVID because of the isolation in the hospitals. You know, this is not something I've ever lived through. My mom can remember, things similar when there was a polio outbreak or something like that. But, this is uncharted territory for pretty much everybody who's still alive. And anybody who does remember this are the people who are most at risk this time. So, these are interesting times, to say the least. But it's reality. It's here. So
I know it's scary. I mean, so many people can't be with the ones they love on their last few days on Earth.
Yeah.
And then you got other people that are going to die and can't be with the ones they love to comfort them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's so fucked up on both ends.
Yeah, this is going to change society.
Yeah. A lot of this, man, I don't know. It just seems like if motherfuckers would just do something, they could stop this quicker with less people dying. Like you said, why doesn't everybody have a mask? Why aren't there gloves everywhere? Like everywhere you go, there should be glove stations.
Well, I'll tell you what,
mask
man.
stations. What?
If you go to Singapore, if you go to Taiwan, you will see that. You'll see gloves everywhere.
What? Why aren't these cops getting reprimanded? Back to that. It's insane. They're just infecting people. They don't give a shit. This is the government. Like it could be so easy. You know what I mean? Just, hey, we're the government. We demand that these companies make hand sanitizer. We need this many by this date. Do it. We'll take care of you money-wise from the people's taxes. We need this many masks by this date. We know what I mean? We need this many this by this date and this date and this date. Get it moving. And then distribute it to the states. All this Jared Kushner and Donald Trump talking about, it's the feds, it's ours, it's not everybody's. What is that, man? Shut the hell up. You heard about that? They were up there.
Yeah.
Jared Kushner was like, this is the Fed's supply. This is our supply. We can't just go giving it willy-nilly to the states who need it. Then, but
where's the profit in that?
Is I've always thought it's like the reserve for the states who need it.
Yeah, but that's before we got here. Where's the profit in just giving it to the states?
Yeah.
Forget it.
The highest bidder gets to live.
That's right. We're here to make a fucking dollar. So, I mean, let's get to it. Assholes. See, this is what it would be like if they had computers when Rome fell.
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
I know. It just sounded funny.
Unbelievable.
Man.
Unbelievable. The unsustainable, gluttonous empire. And, look at this. Like, I've been following the story about the USS Theodore Roosevelt. And that should prove to every so-called patriotic American where this government is. When you have a deployed aircraft carrier, which is made of nothing but fucking iron, steel, aluminum, and plastic, and it has over 4,000 U.S. Navy members on it. And they have a serious COVID problem. And, the Pentagon tried to get them to dock to a base. And all the Marines who were stationed there said, hey, what the fuck is this? We're already kept here on base. We can't go anywhere. We can't go home. We got no fight. This is fucked. Get us out of here. Now you're going to bring a shipload of people with COVID here? We're not down with this. And then, of course, probably everybody's heard of Captain Crozier. He's the guy who told the Pentagon, you people are fucked in the head. We have a serious issue here. And he got relieved because he told the truth. So, I mean, patriotic Americans, this is what your government is doing to those who choose to serve. If you want to talk about Second Amendment and what it actually was written for, is written for shit like this, where the government is willingly risking lives and willing to expose more to keep shit on the quiet side.
Yep.
So
it's
there
disgusting.
You go.
It's disgusting. It's horrifying. And you know who can stop it? The people. And if you give a fuck about the people, you can't vote for a Democrat or a Republican. So why vote? I don't know. It doesn't even make sense. It makes no goddamn sense. Things
are changing fast. You know,
Man.
And I mean, if a carrier group, because carriers never travel alone, I mean, there's like 20, 30 vessels in a carrier strike group. So to have all that money and resource out there, and you're willing to, you know, possibly fuck it right up, like how long do you think it would take to decontaminate an entire aircraft carrier? 6 months? What's it going to cost? A couple $100 million? And they're just willing to say, yeah, whatever. If we have to do that, we'll do that. Just keep it down.
You know what else they can do to get rid of it? Is melt down all that steel, recycle all that plastic and glass and whatever, and make ventilator machines.
That's a whole nother issue too.
Yeah. Fuck the military. We don't need any of their shit. But yeah.
But again, you want to talk about that? There it is. It's the military willing to fulfill their charter to serve the nation, and the government's too fucking slow and stupid to tell them where to send the stuff.
Yep.
There's just no excuse for this kind of stuff, man. This is incompetence to a criminal degree.
Well, it's something to a criminal degree. It seems incompetent, but the more you look at it, it seems like it's designed to make a lot of people a lot of money and just not give a shit about any of the people like us.
Well, that's true. It does keep them out of the market. It keeps that stock tied up. That's true. But again, it's not incompetence. It's just bloodthirsty capitalism.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's better, I guess. Fuck.
Cool. Anything else before we go that we missed?
No, just everybody be aware. Think. Protect yourself.
Stay safe out there. And don't forget, in about, what time is it? About 40 minutes, just under 40 minutes, we're going to have Celeb Scoder. He's going to be doing the Go Punk Yourself show, which is going to feature whatever the hell I couldn't say before. Industrial hip hop and rap. So, and experimental rap. That's it. So yeah, check that out. That's at 7:30 our time Pacific and 10:30 East Coast. And we'll be back again soon with the People's Weekly. That's kind of like every 1 or 2 months lately. All right, thanks, Glenn, for doing the show.